Hey Aubrey, what's your favorite kind of cycling?
Well, I like bicycling, unicycling, tricycling, quadricycling, soul cycling, water cycling, nitrogen cycling. That's about it. Yeah. Those are my favorite cycles.
Well, I think my favorite kind is recycling.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Okay, So Hear Me Out. I am Aubrey Massey.
And I am Hannah LaFleur.
Okay, So Hear Me Out is an imagination exploratorium where Hannah and I choose a topic and we use our creative minds in order to improve said subject. And this week, if you couldn't tell by the intro, is all about recycling. Going green. Mean green.
Shrek machine.
Shrek machine. We're turning the whole world into mean green Shrek machines
Yeah.
that recycle.
Old jokes.
So, recycling is simple. Recycling, I did a lot of research on recycling and everything like that when Hannah said, we should do a recycling episode. And I went, I don't know a lot about recycling. But here's the basics, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know. You take things like paper, plastic, rubber, glass, cardboard, electronics, whatever people say are recyclable, and you put it in a bin, and then all of that bin gets put into a recycling truck, and the recycling truck takes it to a recycling plant, and then a bunch of people, machines, separate them, put them into big boxes, and then most of the time melt them down and turn them into new things. It's brand new things that then get sold back to you, and they don't end up suffocating turtles and destroying birds and
Taking away places where animals raise their babies.
yes,
And looking gross as well in ditches.
and the problem in the world really is that people don't recycle enough.
It's not, it seems inconvenient for most people, and sometimes it is. It totally is inconvenient sometimes. Like, there's a lot of places that make it really hard to recycle.
So yes, our first issue is how do we make recycling more attractive, and the best way to make something attractive is to also make it sexy. One is that advertisements for recycling can be really sick. There is a big campaign ad during Mexico's presidential election where, oh God, I can't remember his name, but he's president of Mexico now. That guy. Anyways, one of the big campaign commercials for him were two teenagers making out, and then they were getting real close to doing it. And one of them goes, I have to tell you, I'm voting for... And then they said the candidate's name, and the other person said, oh, me too. And then they just started doing it on the commercial. That's not true. But they were clearly more into it. So maybe...
Yeah. Well, like, and you take any, like, most beer commercials, and they make it look really fun and sexy on the beach. So, sexy, clean beaches because you've recycled.
What if it starts with a beer commercial, and somebody throws a beer can into the ocean, and then I lost my train of thought.
And then another person says, I can't believe you just did that. I'm not gonna sleep with you. And then someone else walks into the frame, picks up the beer can, puts it in a recycle bin, and then
they just start having sex.
Yeah, they're like
on the beach.
Wow.
Right then and there,
yeah.
in front of the guy who threw the beer can, and it says, "Want to get laid? Recycle."
Yeah. I mean that's one thing that would work.
What else would make recycling sexy?
Well, the products themselves could be sexier, right? Can't we take recycled things and make them into sexy, I don't know, something?
You mean like...
Yes, that. Condoms.
Ooh, because that would solve the
Other problems.
some of the other problems, like a lack of general sex education and healthcare in the sex field. But now it's like, hey, guess what? These condoms, they used to be tires. I don't think that's sexy, but
tires. Okay, so
if more people gave away their tires to recycling to turn them into condoms, that might be pretty good. Because, well, latex is not necessarily a rubber as much as it is. Well, it's called rubber. Latex is like a synthetic rubber plastic hybrid. So...
Hey, don't worry about it. We'll leave it up to the scientists to figure out the hard part. But you want to take tires and make them into condoms? Let's do it. Let's dream big.
Dream big.
So...
Well, for some people will have to dream a little bit smaller.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Penis. That was our penis-sized joke for the for the month.
And you could just call it the campaign to get more tire condoms is called Rubbers, tires in the streets, condoms in the sheets.
Sure.
Which is where they're supposed to go. It would not work the other way around. But of course, it doesn't just have to be tires. Condoms could be made out of trash bags. And I think that's a you can do it yourself recycling right there.
So you can invite your friends over to a party instead of like making soap or making candles, you make condoms?
Yes.
Okay,
cool. That's why I've created this machine. It just takes two things and it puts them together. I've been playing with it a little bit. Turns out if you put a rubber band and a trash bag into this machine, it comes out a condom.
I am suddenly looking forward to my middle age, where I think maybe I'll have like 3 of my girlfriends over for, I don't know, cocktails or something that people do when they're in their 40s and 50s, and we'll make condoms together. So with your friends, with your gentlemen's club of middle-aged guys, I know that you're not a stereotype, but I need you to live in this stereotype for a moment. If I'm making condoms with my girlfriends, then you with your boyfriends are going to be doing...
watching the big sports ball game on our recycled TV, which is a big box made out of old pizza boxes, and a bunch of guys just stand in there and recreate what they hear on the radio, which is actually just 2 tin cans tied together with a very, very long string, and one of them's at the game, and the other one's in the living room, and we're eating recycled meat burgers.
Recycled meat?
Yeah, they've already been eaten.
Oh, okay. And pooped out.
Once
and
before.
made back into burgers.
And
Got
then
it.
Formed into patties over our recycled wood, which is already burnt wood being reburnt.
Okay.
So it's not very effective from a fire standpoint, but aesthetically it's pleasing. And we're eating it with a side of Doritos, but the Doritos are just, it's shattered glass into triangle format.
From Beaches?
Yeah, with some nacho cheese dust on
right.
it. But that's the only thing that's not recycled or organic.
All right, so I don't know if this is the future, but I think it is interesting. We have painted a picture of something.
It is some kind of brave new world.
Yeah, it sure is brave, eating broken glass. Well, okay, what amazes me is that when you look at landfills, almost everything in a landfill could be recycled, or it's, food.
Right?
Which will eventually biodegrade. But
you know what I looked up?
What?
I mean, I kind of already knew it, but I just want to confirm my suspicions. What do you recycle? And the list is paper, plastic, metal, rubber, glass, electronics. And then I was like,
what else is
what
there?
else is there? Like, there's wood, but wood is natural. Wood
would rot away eventually.
Wood rots, and then and with the fungus and the earthworms mix it all up, and then that's nutrients in the ground. That doesn't need recycling. And then there's food. Food also comes from the earth. It's allowed to go back to the earth, right? That's what compost bins are for.
It's McDonald's fries, which never biodegrade, at least in your car.
And then there's clothes, but clothes don't need to be recycled, really. They have their own recycling, which is you give them away for free, you donate them, you give them to the Goodwill, the Army of Salvation.
Eventually, I feel like most clothes end up in third world countries, which is good because they need clothes.
That's where the leftover Super Bowl t-shirts go.
I know, it's funny.
Like, there's recycling there. And that's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's whatever. Nobody
That's
really
not
cares
the
all that
thing
much.
that's ending up in the ocean in our animals' friendly friends' esophaguses.
But plastics.
Yeah.
Plastics.
Plastics. Okay, so we made condoms. Hey, can we
Out
make
of rubbers.
Can we make dildos?
Yes.
Cool.
Every house shall now come with a smelter for all of your plastic needs, and then you get a mold of the dildo that you want, and then it melts it down. So you can just skip the middleman once again. Don't need to recycle it to get your own dildos. It's just right there in your house.
You have a recycling machine.
You have a recycling machine. That's the one thing I really loved about Stardew Valley is that they had a machine that just recycled things for you. And you're
Right.
like, hey, here's some glasses. They're broken. And then it was like, here's refined quartz. And you're like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. Anyways, great game. Doesn't make a lot of sense logically. But what if that happened?
Can we make this into like a good business model though for your dildos? So like, hey, what do your parents do for a living? Like, oh, they make dildos. Oh, that's awesome. Like they make, $40,000 a year making dildos.
Out of recycled plastics.
They go to a landfill. So that's one way to get rid of the problem we already have. Or you can work, in communities and collect plastic that people are throwing away. But you get all this plastic and then you make them into dildos, market them as, natural, organic, good for you. They don't have chemicals. They're just recycled from people's...
Yeah, there's no bad chemicals going up your
landfill. Yeah.
holes.
Yeah. I just want to put organic dildos up in my holes. I didn't just say that on something we're going to publish. It's fine. So when we're marketing these, we got to have the same sexy ads as we had for the condoms, right?
Why fill the land with plastic when you can fill yourself with it?
I like it.
Suck on this, global warming. It's a picture of a dildo. That's green and has the little recycling triangle stamped all over it.
Right. It's one big recycling looking dildo.
And it's actually kind of like, it's a bump. The recycling thing is a bump on it, so it's ribbed.
Yeah. Also, so like every time you'd use this dildo, you'd think, man, I'm a great person. That's the thought that would go through your head instead of
sex
normal,
positive.
Yeah, instead of body shaming, whatever. Sex positive messages is what we need.
Okay. I think that we can add to the list. So that's plastics, papers, just make more books. Let's get more literate.
Yeah.
Metals. Just use it for the regular metal stuff. Metal is easy. You melt down metal, you turn it into whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, and speaking of turning
Swords.
it, yes, I need like an old school timey blacksmith shop across the street from where I live. I know there's blacksmith shops, technically, air quotes, where they do metal works. No, I need like Will Turner and his drunk uncle, is that who it is? I don't know, in a blacksmith barn so that I can go visit it and learn how to make swords and axes from the either way of the dwarves or the elven way, which is a little bit more artsy-fartsy, but I appreciate both aesthetics. I need that in my life. So if we recycled metals, I could learn how to be a blacksmith, and like the cool kind. I could get a sword. I could protect myself. This is also helping our gun thing problem in this country. We need less guns and more swords. I said it. Vote for me. Hannah L. President.
Okay, I think it's time for a new segment on the show, as in like the first actual segment we've ever done. Are you ready?
No, but okay.
Okay, this one is called... I don't know what it's called. We're gonna create a name for it, but here's what we're gonna do. Let's celebrate people that are doing it right.
Oh, you mean people who have good ideas and actually do something with them?
People that have been in their own imagination exploratorium and they fucking won. They just said, here's my idea, and they made the world a better place.
Man, I wish we were already like that. Me, go?
You go.
Okay, well, actually, I'm glad you bring this up. All right, so there's this girl, and I read this story last week. Her name is Angelina Aurora from Australia, and she made something like a plastic bag out of shrimp, like that stuff that's on shrimp when you peel shrimp. Well, she got that and like used silk from cocoons or something and mixed it together, said some magic words, but out of science words that I'm unfamiliar with. And she made something like a plastic bag. I mean, it is a plastic bag, but it's not made out of plastic. And it biodegrades within like 33 days. Isn't that crazy?
It's also ballin'.
Oh, it's so ballin'. I mean, that she's using something that we just throw away, which is the part of the shrimp that's inedible.
That you cannot eat.
You cannot eat that. And made a functional thing out of it. I wish I was that resourceful. I have some good ideas, but maybe I should just change career paths. Or I make a bomb-ass band out of recycled plastics. And I never I'm not judged well at competitions because I can't tune their instruments, but they look freaking cool.
That's a very niche reference. I'm just letting you know.
I'm trying to relate this to my life.
It's your life. Hannah and I are band directors that get judged on how well kids play instruments, and that goes into not necessarily our job ratings, but people look at those ratings and go, oh, you're a good band director or not a good band director. So if she used trash instruments, she'd get a trash rating and never get hired ever again.
Right, but they would look cool, and I would be saving the planet. It'd be kind of fun to figure out how to make songs out of different kinds of cans.
You could call yourselves the Junkies, because you use junk as instruments.
Well, like, I know I've seen stories about, like, across the world, people using trash to make musical instruments. But here in Texas, the land of where band is good, I just have to get a little bit...
You just need to believe in yourself,
I need to
Hannah.
believe in myself.
Just do it.
And care less about everyone in charge.
Hannah, when Barry Barrington, protagonist of the wonderful 2002 hit film The Country Bears, was told that he couldn't get the Country Bears band back together, did he give up?
I don't know. I never saw that movie.
I don't think we can do this anymore if you haven't seen The Country Bears.
What, the podcast or our relationship?
Yes. And the Country Bears is a cult classic.
Okay.
That's not true. It's a garbage movie.
It's a garbage movie. What if I told you I saw the previews probably about 1,000 times on some old favorite VHSs? Would that count for something?
No, because you didn't watch it and you didn't get the heartfelt emotions that you feel when Barry Barrington finally succeeds at getting his favorite trash band together. And it's not a band that uses trash instruments, they're just really bad because they're animatronic bears.
Okay, sorry that my parents just showed me beautiful, not trash movies. Speaking of this, let's make more trash recycling things, into art, because people don't like to throw away art. I know this is a thing, but it's always like, wow, this person made a prom dress out of soda cans. Crazy. But like if we made it normal, it'd be kind of cool.
We need Victoria's Secret, their fashion show that they always do, to feature trash things.
This would actually be a beautiful statement, I think, if it's every model walked down the runway wearing something that was picked up out of the ocean. Some of them would just be like completely see-through. They'd have to figure some of that out.
Plastic bags. Yeah, that would work.
I think they'd figure it out. Those are genius people in charge, fashion models.
I think something that we need is more incentives to recycle. Not just making it sexy, but give more incentives. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money. Like, money's the go-to, of course. Pay people for their plastic bottles, for their cans, for their... That sounded kind of sexual, but you know what I mean. Just don't pay them. What if, in order to get into a cool sporting event or a cool concert, everybody who wanted to get in had to show up with their own recyclables and put them into a recycling thing already separated, right? Like, hey, if you want to enter, you got to put a few aluminum cans in here, and then like maybe a plastic bottle, and then you're good to go.
That'd be awesome. Or even like kind of normal things, like going grocery shopping. If you bring 2 bags of recyclables from our our good non-plastic bags, reusable bags, then you can get $10 off.
If Lady Gaga put on a concert in which a few hours before the concert, people showed up and they put their recyclables into these bins, and then in the next few hours, Lady Gaga's people created her costumes for the night out of those recyclables, I think it'd be the biggest hit ever. And I think the only person that could do that would be Lady Gaga. She would say, hey, I want to make a recyclables dress or an outfit or whatever, and I need your help.
Little Monsters, ready, set, go.
She wore raw meat. She'll do anything.
Yeah. Well, for art and for making a statement, she's our go-to person.
And I think she'd do it.
Yeah.
I think she'd do it.
Hey, Lady Gaga, if you're listening, hit us up. Also, I just want to be your friend. I really do. Let's have dinner. I guess Aubrey can come, but it could just be us two.
Okay. I think that I have to start this off with saying that I am not for eugenics. But what if we recycled people?
I need you to explain that to me.
What
a little bit farther. Past the I'm not for eugenics, but...
I'm not for eugenics. But what if when people came towards the end of their life...
Jesus. Okay.
We recycle them. Because at first my thought process was, what if you take the people you don't like and recycle them to where you got their good qualities, but you got rid of their bad qualities and upcycled them into a better person?
Okay.
But then...
Well, okay, Aubrey, instead of just waiting till the end of their life, how about just dead people? Can't I just donate my body? I'm an organ donor. How about I just... Wait, what? Bodies are fine. Bodies degrade. I don't think we need to...
I'm not talking about bodies. I'm talking about people.
Like personalities?
Sure. I don't know. Look.
Aubrey's an idiot. He thinks we need to... I don't know what he thinks he wants to do with people. But anyway... You want to try that one again? Or at least come up with stronger points.
Okay, so here's recycling. Recycling is you take a bunch of now somewhat worthless items, right? You take a bunch of bottles, right? Plastic bottles. And then you go, I don't want these plastic bottles anymore. We need to make something new out of these plastic bottles. So you melt them all down, you put them together, and then you create a new plastic thing that is sturdier and better. Or you do that with glass. They crunch down the glass, and then they glass, and then they melt it, and then they create a bigger, more sturdy bottle.
So you want to recycle people
Yes.
into bigger, more sturdy people.
Yes.
Okay. Aubrey Massey wants to be Frankenstein.
I want to be Dr. Frankenstein and take people that... Well, that's the thing, though. They're weak when they're old and fragile. And then you take them and you mix them all together after you melt them down into their basic human components. And they come out as a super soldier.
This has gone down a dark path suddenly. We went from, hey, let's make the world a better place, to,
I'm just saying,
hey,
if
let's
people
kill the old weak people.
Volunteer, if old weak people are like, I could become something better and greater than myself, why not give them the opportunity?
Okay, so we'll leave it up to them to decide. Sure. Okay. So now
I didn't say it was going to be nationally mandated. I'm just saying, what if? And maybe all of their personalities live on inside that person. And there's probably going to be some kind of psychosis. But other than that, it would work out great.
I like the dildo idea better than condoms. But, you never know. Maybe someone out there is listening and knows how to make that not eugenics.
We're not doing it because they're... Fuck.
Yes, we are. Aubrey's trapped himself in a moral trap.
What if what I actually meant was that you have a friend and you and your friend don't get along very much anymore, and so normally you'd kick that friend to the curb because you don't want to hang out with them anymore. They're a little bit toxic or something like that. But then you're like, I don't want to trash this friend. I'm just going to recycle them. And you set them up with a new friendship. And there's an app for it. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to take you to this place, dear friend. And it's where all of the people who don't get along with their friends anymore go. And they go there. It's like in Rick and Morty where all the different Ricks drop off the Jerry in the Jerry plate.
Yeah.
Daycare. That is what I'm talking about. What if you just took your friends that you don't like anymore and they can find new friends?
Okay.
And you can find new friends because you go, I've outgrown this friend. And that other person's like, I've outgrown my friend too. Do you want to be new friends? And you go, yes. And then you hope that one day neither of you takes the other one to said place.
All right. Sure. That's a little bit better. Anyway.
And what they don't tell you is that in the very back, what they do is they take all those friends that you've dropped off, they melt them down into one super friend.
The greatest friend you'll ever have.
The greatest friend you'll ever have.
Your wife?
Nope. I don't have a wife.
Well, not yet, because they haven't been melted down yet.
Yeah. Let's melt down our wives.
Hey, I have one last idea for, like, maybe motivating people to be better with how they dispose of, like, their plastics and other trash things. What if we had, like, one day of the year that was like Christmas but way better, because we actually did something good for the planet? And it was, let's say, April for North America, because it's like a feels nice time of year, or September also feels kind of nice. And it's like this huge recycling party. Everyone gets, it could be like the kind of party where everyone is either slightly tipsy or you can get high. There's a bunch of Cheetos everywhere and all kinds of baked goods. And everyone takes their plastic and we all recycle all of our shit together. And we all go clean up landfills and beaches. And we celebrate our beautiful planet.
Okay. How does April 22nd sound?
Sounds good.
And we'll call it Earth Day.
It sounds good. Is Earth Day on a Saturday or a Sunday?
Is that what you were trying to get to? Is that we should make Earth Day? Or did you just forget that Earth Day existed?
Well, who does, when you're busy during the year, the problem is that Earth Day doesn't make you do something. It's like Earth, and I love Earth too, so I'm like, yay, Earth.
Earth Day is a Monday.
Earth Day is a Monday this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe I'll take that day off of school and go celebrate the planet by kissing the ground and recycling all my things, which
That's right, folks. If
Are
you
recycling
really
it.
care about your planet, you'll make love to it.
So that's the episode.
All right, cool. That's it. I don't want to do the normal business, so bye.
Bye.